All right, this is going to be a impromptu X space here regarding the new announcement about the Bitcoin documentary that just was announced here by the by Blockstream, and I'm going to title this space here, get it out there right now, and we'll call it. Let's see, we'll call it Satoshi's 2005 sighting and money electric space planning. See, what happened was Mark Eglinton, the author I've interviewed on this channel before a couple times, he wrote about Satoshi, the most, the hero villain. He wrote about this 2005 article by JVP. I thought it was lost. I couldn't find it. It was he had it. He finally sent me a copy of it. It was backed up I did find where it was removed from Reddit, but I found it. Okay. And it's so freaking amazing. It's just incredible story. And people need to get the word out there and counter this Blockstream narrative to the Adam Back Satoshi thing and all that. I mean, it's fake news, dude. So let's go ahead and start up a space, talk about it just briefly. I'm going to try to keep this relatively short because I got a big space going on tomorrow. Tune in for that. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern. And that's going to be all in the regulatory framework. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be an important recorded space for tomorrow because getting the message out there about discussing the network access rules and the digital asset recovery on Bitcoin blockchain, which is the BSV blockchain, is super important. And no matter what it is, people need to be heard on it. So I'm going to have opposition and discussion and make it very civil, kind of run it like a mediation almost in a way and discuss it. But again, my point is it comes down to use. Let's use the thing. Let's put it in action. Let's see how before we say there's a fire in a crowded theater, let's see if it actually creates a fire. It could be great. Let's see it in use. See what the nodes think about it. And if the nodes are happy and they like it, then great. If the nodes hate it in the future, well, then it's got to get worked out. But right now we're just kind of still in the theorizing mode, but it is super important going into the future. So, all right, let's get started. I think I've got a recording here. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Pause. I will record in the background just to give you guys notice, but yeah. So anyways, the reason I wanted to start up the space really quick is just to kind of give a quick little idea for what I'm thinking is going on. First of all, there's a documentary. It's timely. Apparently October 8th on stream on Max. Was that Showtime or something or HBO? They're going to premiere a documentary about the future of money, who holds the power. I saw Adam Back was on there and some other people. So it'll be Crypto Spartacus reached out to me about planning an X space. I thought it would be a good idea to do that and plan it out, but it doesn't look like we have a lot of time. It's the 8th. So today's the 3rd. So I'd rather do a proper planning and make it big, So that's kind of why I wanted to start this up and just, put the idea out there and ask if he wants to join. I don't know if he sees me up or not, how easy this is to see, but if he wants to join and see if we can schedule it, if anybody else wants to be on the speakers panel, we should schedule it. And then also I wanted to bring up something super interesting right now because it's super timely. And I don't know how this happened at the same time, but this is the very same day I get this message. I've been looking for, so the Satoshi book, The Man Who Built Bitcoin, that book by Mark Eglinton, he talked about in that book that there was an article by Joseph Vaughn Perling on the internet somewhere. And it was written back in 2016 from his 2005 first known Satoshi Nakamoto sighting, Joseph Vaughn Perling. And I read it in the book and it was super brief. I saw nothing about it on the internet other than a couple references to a deleted Reddit feed, which had been destroyed. And I wasn't able to get to it. He sent me the backed up article and it's freaking awesome, dude. It's absolutely compelling. It is well written. It's very detailed. I was going to read it on a show, but it's so long that it's going to take 20 minutes to read on a video. So I just thought I would start this space up. I don't think people have read this. I don't think people know about this. 2005, what happened was this guy was at a conference and he was basically, it was a hackers conference called the White, so in 2005, What the Hack? A bunch of hackers got together in in Amsterdam. And he'd been going, this guy, Van Perling, he'd been going to this conference every year for 5 years, actually since 97. So he'd been going since 97. That was 2005. So he'd been going about 8 years. He was familiar with it. And on the article, there's actually pictures of people camping out in tents and how it's all set up. So he's very detailed about this conference and his attendance and how he'd been going every single year. And he has pictures from it, his passes and all this stuff when he was there. So he talks about in this article about how there's a group of people that are all hanging out talking, and it looked like something interesting. So we kind of went up and like started eavesdropping and see what was going on. And then a guy who he described as looking like a graduate student with a backpack on, definitely not an undergrad, but a guy who was a graduate student. He was a dark-haired man with a backpack, probably a graduate student. He was too old to be an undergrad. He struck up a conversation. And in this article, what it was like, the guy, he describes the guy as being no nonsense, just right to the point. And he was asking him, the guy asked him about, well, can you tell me about this conference? It's my first time here. I'm looking for, he had certain interests. He says, I'm interested in meeting certain people. He says, yeah, you could talk to these, he described what was called the cypherpunks. He's like, there's a cypherpunk group of people here. And the guy who Joseph Van Perling is describing in this article, there's a cypherpunk. And the guy says, well, what's a cypherpunk? He says, well, it's these people that are kind of anarchists, and they believe that the internet, allows like this new form of kind of a enforcement of government through code and online, regulation, as opposed to just the old fashioned laws. And so they're cypherpunk. They're very private and they work anonymously. And so the guy, he says, didn't know what cypherpunk was, but he described how to find them. They had a tent there, or a group of people he could go meet later on. So he goes through and he describes this meeting, and Van Perling saying that he wrote all this down on like a notepad right after the meeting. So it wasn't just all in his memory, but because it was so detailed. And the guy was there, definitely a graduate student. He said, quote, I asserted he was probably a graduate student or postdoctorate, somewhere between, because of the backpack and attire. His speaking was polished and directly precise speech, characteristic of intelligent people, and the notebook he piled from the backpack was the sort you might find in a university, though not one in the USA. He struck me as a researcher of some sort. He spoke calmly with confidence and excellent English. He seemed continental in his style, but not entirely comfortable, and he had a UK dicton. But there was some accent beneath it, but it wasn't British, but similar. So, and then he describes this part, a very detailed, interesting part about how, let me just read it. As we were talking in the sun, it was a bit hot, and there was a slight breeze. The direct sunlight can be punishing, and there was a little bit of shade to be had by my hat. I made it my practice to stand in the sunshine so that my hat would provide some shadow for his head. Given the time of day and the season and the location, I could very likely determine his exact height. I could very likely determine his exact height if I were so inclined to do so. It seemed a bit off of a trade for him. Standing there in the shade of my hat put him within my personal space, and I could feel a bit of tension, as if he wanted to step back to a more comfortable distance from him, but would then be looking into the sun. So after a few such encroachments, he chose to get comfortable and stand closer to me so I could shade him from the sunlight in his eyes. I noticed that his personal space and taking comfort range was a bit larger than my own. He began with a discussion and pointing out that credit cards were designed before the internet, and that there was a need of an update or replacement for their use on the internet. And and that they were not suited for all this purpose. The main change that was needed was removing the counterparties and the third-party trust required by making the money source distributed and a peer-to-peer. And without his solution, many other benefits may follow. And he has a picture here of this anonymous, this is from the conference talking about anonymous communications online. He mentioned that there's all sorts of applications that were very resilient and difficult to stop, citing differences between Napster and Tor. This had my attention. He's skipping ahead now. He says, he did not quite interrupt me, so he knew that he was following my interest, and he let me allow. There's another picture here talking about running a node, getting off the code, running a node from the conference in 2005. He talked about, and he then asked me if I knew about cryptography, which I did know quite a bit. This is Van Perling talking. He then asked if I knew about elliptic curve cryptography and I responded that I was familiar with it, such that it's a use in PGP, but not likely to hear how he was applying it. He took this as a clue and launched into a brief description of elliptical curve cryptography fundamentals, and he displayed a very good understanding of not just how it worked, but also what it could do, as though he had lectured on the subject. I chimed in with an acknowledgement of understanding of some of the underpinning mathematics, so as to let them know we could skip mathematics lecture. I mentioned that I'd worked on some of the noteworthy cryptographers in the US, and he said, "Oh, you're from the US? Then you know about Liberty Dollar, ? So I told him that I didn't actually know. I didn't. And he said that it was an alternative currency based on precious metals, which reminded me that I had read something about it in one of my coin journals. It might have a piece or two. This is important because, in an interview around 2011, there's an old interview about Liberty Dollar from the guy who started it. And he says, before this article was even written, he mentions how this guy, a friend of his, he doesn't mention Van Perling, mentioned that he met the guy who started Bitcoin at a conference in the Netherlands, and that the guy who started Bitcoin was inspired by the Liberty Dollar. So the guy who made the Liberty Dollar on the video, he's super impressed, saying, yeah, the guy who started Bitcoin, he claimed to be inspired to start Bitcoin because of my Liberty Dollar. And that's according to my friend who met him in the Netherlands. So that's like a fact that's like kind of missing out there in this whole thing, this whole chain of events that people are somehow haven't known about. So then he talks about the Byzantine generals problem, and he started talking about Merkle trees and hashing. And it was only briefly that he could see my mind was moving towards the greater implications of what he was working on. It was potentially disruptive on a massive scale. It could change and improve just about everything in human interaction on the internet. By this time, I realized that I wasn't talking about some random kook, but a genius, and one who had thought this through in some great detail, and that this was pretty seriously interesting stuff. What he was working on was truly amazing, revolutionary, and I started to get a bit animated and excited. I asked him if he realized how incredible this was and the impact it would have on the world, but I was much excited at this point. He kept his demeanor very calm, more calm than myself. He had a bit of a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, and he could see the effect it was having on me, and the implications were becoming more and more clear. So next he goes on to ask him if he knew about what blockchain was. This person asked him, said, "Do you know what blockchain is?" He suggested that it could be decreasing amounts over halving that were so asymptomatically be limited. This would provide a finite cap of the amount of inflation, but it would also approach in smaller increments over time. So he described that this blockchain, these coins could he called them coins for lack of a better word, could be sent anywhere on an exchange, and that the transactions would be reported to the servers securing the blockchain. I was pretty blown away by this. I told him that I thought it was incredible and revolutionary, and I thought the libertarians would love it. The people of the Federal Reserve and the central banks would hate it. He gave a smile, then he said, "Who asked me about the libertarians?" And I explained to them it's a political group in the US that seeks to limit government. And I thought it was he says, at the time, I thought the guy was pretty reserved because he was clearly enjoying my excitement, but he wasn't getting emotional about it at all. I asked some high-level questions to get some sense of the project, and talking about GAAP and skipping ahead on some of the technical details here. He said that could be applied later on, but it would have to be done through alternative code. So then he told me that he was looking for a programmer and he wanted help writing code. Now, Van Perling responds that he was qualified, but he had a family, and he said he felt that he would put his family in danger, and he wasn't willing to go and work privately on the side and not disclose this to his family at the time because he had a wife and a young child, and he felt that he had just a primary duty to them, and he couldn't work as some random hero in the background, just at his place in his life. So he passed on the opportunity. But then he brought up these cypherpunks. He says, I told him that I saw tents earlier, that I pointed their way, these cypherpunks. And he says, what are cypherpunks? I told him that cypherpunks are programmers, but not just programmers. They are particularly very well suited to work on this sort of thing. Privacy and automated in modes of authority. So he said, as he turned away, I called to him and said, wait, I would like very much to work on this later. What's the project going to be called? How will I be able to find it? What's the project called? He paused. This seemed to trigger a thought in his head, which appeared to me as a trust evaluation, and thought was clear. And though it was clear to me that he had a project name in mind, but that he was reluctant to say it. The man was clearly good at keeping secrets, a secret I respected, that he respected quite a lot. I'm no stranger to getting people to reveal their secrets, but I wasn't going to let him go without saying something to use that I could as a reference. How else would I be able to fulfill my promise of involvement? I surmised that possible domains hadn't been registered or something that he didn't want to say. Then I asked him if I could take the paper, because he wrote a paper there of all these drawings, and he described everything on a chart to him. I skipped ahead in the article about that. He said, can I take this paper that he had drawn with the diagrams of the blockchain and the mining network? And he said, no. So I asked if I could take the pictures take pictures of it. He said, no. I asked him how I would know about his project from other similar effects. And that's when he told me to look for him, Satoshi Nakamoto. I had never heard this before. And indeed, perhaps no one had in 2005. And it did not seem to match at all with the person who was speaking. So I asked him to repeat it, which he did. Satoshi Nakamoto. At this point, I let him walk away across the hard packed and recently dried dirt and sprouts of grass, struggling to take back the terrain. I thought about taking a few more pictures of him as he walked away to help me remember something that I felt momentous. Instead, I returned to my campsite and I wrote down what I remembered of the conversation, including the bottom of the paper, Satoshi Nakamoto, as well as what I could reproduce from what he had drawn in the notebook, the diagram of the blockchain, the Merkle trees, fees to miners, miner rewards, halving, finite coins, and mining network. I realized that what I knew from the system and method architecture that he had described to me, that I could have done the project independently. But I was confident that a better path was ahead for me and that my time to be helpful would come later. I would like to think that my encouragement and what little advice and feedback I gave in those early days were helpful and meaningful to him, and that I played some early role in making what eventually became Bitcoin come to fruition. What's up? Hey, dude. So anyways, that's it. I just thought I would share that. I see you're on stage, BSV Panama. What's up, my man? Good to see you. I wanted.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you as well. Very well, thank you. Very good. Everything. Looking forward for the other space tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow's going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I came in a bit late, so I don't know. It looks like you were talking. You were reading a book. What book is that?
Okay, so this is super important, and it is very relevant and timely. I wanted to just impromptu get this space on the record, and I didn't record the space, but I will record it in the background so we can at least make a video of it, because what happened was today, Crypto Spartacus mentioned on Twitter that HBO is going to have a documentary about Adam Back and how Adam Back made Bitcoin or whatever. I don't know what it's going to be about, but it's about Blockstream. Blockstream and BTC, and how, you know,
Right.
they're behind Bitcoin's mystery. And so
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
yeah, so it's going to be on October 8th, and he asked me about hosting a space. Oh my gosh, this is coming up in only a couple days. So then at the same time, I had been speaking to Mark Eglinton, the author of Satoshi Hero Villain, and I asked him, I said, you know, I can't find the article that he referenced in the book written by JVP, Joseph Van Perling, and I'd been looking for it. It'd been deleted off the internet. It's one of these censorship things. Read it, and it was
Oh,
gone. Okay. He's like, no, I got a backup. So he sent me a backup copy of it, which is the original article.
great.
It's all highlighted from the original backup, and I've got it here. And that's what I was reading from. And so it's one of these
Ah,
censored things from the internet that somehow, you know, people, they do not want anyone to see this, because it's the original article that he wrote about meeting Satoshi Nakamoto in 2005 at this hacker event in the Netherlands. What the hack?
right.
And
Well, that's super interesting.
and
Yeah.
he made the connection to when he met the same guy in 2016 at the Bitcoin Bell event on the internet with Nick Szabo and Trace Mayer. And he was
Yeah.
there in the hat. And he said, that's the same guy on the internet on the video. That's Satoshi
Right.
Nakamoto, who I met in 2005. Now, when asked,
2005.
when the author asked Craig about that, he says, you know, I went to hundreds of conferences, you know, thousands of them at that time, and I'm not good at remembering people, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't remember, but so Craig doesn't remember. You know, apparently he's just going to conferences like this all the time at that point. You know, and so he probably met a lot of people and had this type of a conversation.
Yeah.
But this is one that is now embedded in there. And now this guy, then, what's also interesting about what's reading from the article is that this guy then went on to start what's called the New Liberty Dollar. Now it's important because there's a video
Yeah.
that was from the guy who started the Liberty Dollar, which would have been like 2005 or 2001. And at the meeting in this article, he says that Satoshi Nakamoto asked him if he knew about the Liberty Dollar, since this guy, Joseph Van Perling, was from the United States. And he said no. And then he described it to him and how he's excited about it. And it was basically the Liberty Dollar that inspired him to make this new form of money. Okay, that was in that conversation. It's important because then a few years later, before this article was even published, the guy who started the Liberty Dollar makes that on an interview. He says, oh, and by the way, somebody asked him about Bitcoin. He's like, well, you know, I don't really know too much about it. It could be good. But I will say that a friend of mine, he met the guy who started it, Satoshi Nakamoto, at a conference in Hackers
Okay. Yeah.
2005. And he said it was inspired by my Liberty Dollar to make it. He said, so that was cool.
Right.
That's like another, just a missing little piece of history that, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been totally censored. I don't know why it's censored, man. I mean, having X, I think, is big because these things are censored off the internet. I think. Why else wouldn't we be able to find this sooner?
It
You know,
it allows to bring out all these little pieces of the puzzle and then finally to get the whole picture. It's
right.
great,
Especially because
great.
right now they're doing this big marketing campaign at Blockstream to promote, you know, Blockstream and BTC. They want to promote that
Yeah.
at this documentary coming up about how, you know, BTC and Bitcoin Core probably. I mean, I don't know what it's going to be. I haven't seen the documentary's not even out yet, but I can see that it's about Blockstream. So
Yeah.
we know the narrative Blockstream provides is pretty consistent.
Or
You know,
yeah.
you know, they have a narrative, and that's
Yeah, it's gonna be a piece of propaganda for BTC,
propaganda.
most probably.
Yeah,
Most probably.
it's going to
Yeah.
be propaganda, right? And so that's why I think it's important that we set another space. Looks like it's going to be out on the 8th, and perhaps do schedule a space, a good one. Crypto Spartacus messaged me about hosting it, and I would do it on the 8th. It looks like when it comes out. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that idea out there, because it's
nice.
they're going to be advertising this everywhere. And
Yeah.
we're going to follow it, and they're going to see, oh, wow, Adam Back and Blockstream, they created Bitcoin. Cool. That's going to probably be the narrative, you know, something like that. So
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. at the same time, now this could also make people interested in looking deeper, you know, and making
That's right.
finding out the truth, you
But
know, the real
it'll be an
truth.
opportunity to give people the true information, well, the actual information that's out there on a much deeper level.
Yeah,
And one of the things about Adam
yeah,
Back that has been unrebutted is he has not denied that he's not Satoshi Nakamoto. And that I think is, if you
yeah,
read in the most recent post by CS Tabanaga, he says in there, he's like, that is a form of deception. You know, it's really,
yeah,
it's very improper when you have the opportunity and you're getting investors, and investors are believing maybe he's, you know, he didn't come out. He's
yeah,
never
yeah,
come
yeah.
out and definitively said no. So he's kind of like left it
Mm,
open ended,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And I think,
Yeah, the typical con man doing that, you know, like I cannot talk about it. I might have something, you know, but it's like yeah, it's like making you believe something, you know, without saying it exactly and not denying it, so that you know people keep they're kept in doubt, you know, and so they might be enticed to buy the product, you know. Yeah, that's typical.
yeah, totally typical. And it's really important. It's
Yeah,
trending right now. It says HBO documentary claims to reveal Satoshi Nakamoto's identity. So how timely now Copa's promoting this, because these are the same guys from Copa, right?
exactly.
You know, I mean, so we know that I saw the ad. It was two of the guys who were the board of Copa. So we know that Copa's part of behind the HBO documentary, Blockstream
Yeah, it's
people.
I think it's all coordinated, you know, they just go, they coordinate everything and they make sure that all this narrative comes out. And then I saw some marketing material on X about BTC that is taking into account the critical part and trying to sway the people to say that it's actually that as well. You know, BTC is not just for numbers go up; it's also something else. You know, it's like they are watching what's happening. They are watching, and then they are trying to nudge the people to try to tell them that look, no, that actually BTC is much better than what you think. It's not just that. Just today there was a marketing thing out, and I didn't make a screenshot. I forgot, but there was something that was very really. It was like evident. You know, they took the critique that was made on BTC about one aspect of BTC, and then they twist it and they try to make people believe that it's not, it's also not that it is better, you know. And they make this, they're very subtle, very good at marketing. I must say they're very good,
Yeah, very
you know.
extremely good.
But
Extremely high budget on marketing. And I imagine if we had a little bit of a
yeah,
budget.
sophisticated.
Imagine if we had a
Yeah, yeah,
budget for marketing or advertising. I mean, right now we have zero. So imagine if we imagine what we could do if we had just a few $1,000s a month in stuff like that, right? How we could
yeah,
put things together. It would be huge to help to
yeah,
counter things. So right now we just got to just basically come together and unite and do it on the grassroots, because
yeah,
people they start to go down the rabbit hole and they're like, wait a second, the Satoshi story is super interesting and it's compelling to the newbies because when you're first learning about this, oh, I remember when I first was really going down the rabbit hole, like I'd say like 2016, I was like, I really want to figure this out. And then I was like, wow, I started trying to find, I wonder who this Satoshi guy is. That's super interesting. And I thought, wow, I started like thinking about it and trying to research it. You know, at that time, I was way, way,
yeah,
way, way behind. You know, I was like just a newbie. Knew nothing at that point. You know, I just remember thinking, but it was still drawing me in. It was drawing me in, like the interest of
yeah,
who is this guy? Why didn't he, come around? And then, all these they have this video and this new documentary saying, well, maybe it's Nick Szabo, maybe it's Adam Back, maybe it's this other guy. And they bring all these characters up, right? That they say
yeah,
that we know are not them. It's not. Everybody knows it's not those people. So if anybody else up on stage, go ahead and unmute if you want to say chime in. I had cat.
Well, no, just want to say one more thing that what you said we don't have more we don't have big marketing budget and stuff like that. But look, with the work you're doing and the people who are getting more and more interested and the public is noticing all these things that apart. I mean, I must say, I think you're doing really a lot for the truth to come out, and for making people understand that there is more to the narrative than what they think, and all this is gonna help a lot. And so keep up this great work because it's really great, and thank you for
Yeah,
that.
well, that's awesome. Thank you for the encouragement. That's what it takes. It's just like sometimes it's just some small person or to kind of like help out and ignite the fire. And then the Satoshi story,
Yeah,
I do believe we have something here with the Satoshi story because it's like it's like
yeah,
this interest where if you're a boomer, if you're a newbie, if you're just kind of like, crypto price go up. Satoshi, who's this? Like it's like the how would I say it? It's like the very first step of interest. You start to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
think that's kind of interesting. What's going
yeah, it
on with
is.
that? And then it starts to then the person's going to start researching and looking at things, and eventually they're going to get to down the rabbit hole. And
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
there was a court case. Oh wow,
Yeah,
two court cases. Wow, there's two big court cases. And in America, we got one where the guy already was found to be the creator of Bitcoin, basically. I mean,
yeah,
that's it. Okay, but then we got another one where it wasn't is about the name, just the name, the identity. And that one,
yeah.
he wasn't to be determined that. But then there's all this new information now about, it's crazy. My friend Tufty the cat, David Pierce, when he came on my show, he came on 3 or 4 times, and he never told me that he was working for Copa, dude. I didn't, I thought I asked him that. Was that like I have a little bit.
I don't remember you asking that,
I,
but for sure he didn't say it.
Yeah, he never said he was working for Copa. I thought that was like maybe I don't know, man. I thought I had no idea, dude. Like I feel like I was a little bit kind of cool. I mean, it is what it is, but that's coming
Yeah,
out. Apparently that he's the patent UK patent advisor for Copa.
yeah.
I thought,
You imagine that.
what's up with
Yeah.
that? I thought I thought he was just a BTC fan.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too. Yeah.
So, but now,
Uh,
but now that's a little bit problematic because you got this case where he's in there with Meller, and you guys, did you see the photos?
oh yeah, oh yeah,
They're having a meeting outside.
oh yeah, yeah. I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
having a meeting, and he did say, again, I'm not in any way saying calling this a violation of a law. That's for the court to determine. All I'm
right,
that
right.
I'm a little bit involved because he broke that on my show, and so I'm a little
Yeah,
bit kind of involved, and so I have kind of a right to say, well, this is did what happened. He did talk about going and meeting with Meller. And now what I don't remember is if he talked about Craig or not. Did he say he talked about Craig at the meeting? I think he did. I'm trying to. There's like three or
I
four
don't remember that.
shows. Yeah, I'd have to go back and watch them all to determine
Yeah, me
that.
too.
But so I don't know about that. That's the question. Did he say on the show that he said, "Oh yeah," and then Judge Miller and I talked about Craig? I don't know. If they did, that might be a problem, dude. That might be a big problem. But even if it's about Bitcoin, it's kind of like, is it really, it's not a little sticky? So you're
Hey, everyone, can I just throw something in
please
here?
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, great work you're doing, Gavin.
Oh, thank you.
I
Yes. Jay,
yeah, this is Jpaps.
nice to meet you.
Uh,
Thank you, bro.
hey,
Please take a seat.
Same here, same here. You as well, BSB Panama. Great videos, man. Really enjoy your content. Just wanted to throw something out there. Perhaps this documentary that's coming out now. I mean, I saw a trailer for it and everything. I mean, it could be, I guess you could say, a preemptive strike, so to speak, against the documentary that CoinGeek is apparently coming out with. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Yeah, guys. Look, back in the Klieman trial, I was actually down there with a buddy of mine. We're up here in Canada. We actually flew down to Miami to attend the trial. I mean, I was there on day one, which is what me and my buddy really wanted to do. We really wanted to be there for the opening arguments because we couldn't realistically be there every day. I had met Kurt when I was there, and I was actually interviewed for this documentary. I was interviewed for about five or 6 minutes. Now I don't know what happened to that footage, but apparently this documentary. I've asked Kurt about it on his live streams, and he said they're putting the final touches on it. So I mean, this is something that's going to come out. I'm surprised you haven't heard of this.
No, I mean, loosely, but not. No, I don't know anything other than just like.
Yeah, you see, this is the thing. This is my thinking here. I mean, when Craig lost the trial, lost in parentheses, when he lost the trial, I mean, I had asked Kurt like, what's going on with this documentary now, and he said, oh, from what I understand, it's still going full steam, and they're just finishing it off. So look, there is something coming out.
Dude,
all right,
that's a big deal.
Now, it's well. Hear me out here. Hear me out. There is something coming out, right? Why would Craig, Calvin, CoinGeek, all of this? Why would they be still working on a documentary after Craig has been proven not to be Satoshi? You understand? There's something coming. There's something coming. It's going to be big. It's going to be hard, and it's gonna knock the pants off of everybody. Because they are not making a documentary where the final act, so to speak, is going to be, oh yeah, he was just a fraud. Okay, game over. Draw the curtains. We're done.
Dude.
You understand where I'm coming from?
I do. And so you think that's the reason why Blockstream has gotten behind this, or Copa covers behind this HBO documentary?
I don't know. You tell me. Blockstream has been hijacking Bitcoin since at least 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, they've literally been here almost 10 years, doing whatever nefarious activities they're doing. Subverting, quote unquote, developing Bitcoin, and all of a sudden we have this need to know about who Satoshi is according to Blockstream. I mean, where were they 10 years already? All of a sudden now they got to make a movie?
Right.
Why now?
Yeah.
Why now?
Why now make a movie about Satoshi all of a sudden, right after the Copa trial? Now
exactly.
They got a list of all these people, like Nick Szabo is Satoshi, and Adam Back and all these other
people.
Yeah.
So this could be a case of first to market kind of deal, even on the documentary side, right?
Right.
I mean, the first thing people are going to see on HBO is going to be, oh, well, we think it's Adam Back or whatever other puppet they have lined up, right? I mean, I don't even know how the hell any reasonable, semi-logical person with a quarter functioning brain can say that Adam Back, for example, is Satoshi. I mean, think about it. Satoshi went through the trouble of writing, editing, releasing a white paper describing what Bitcoin is, what it's capable of, what the long-term vision of it is, and then you have Adam Back that is literally developing Bitcoin 180 degrees in the other direction, and people are saying this is Satoshi.
Yeah.
Are people seriously retarded in this world, or what?
Seriously, dude. So you're up in Canada. You were down at the trial for Klieman.
That's right. I mean, I took a week vacation, and I mean, for me anyway, my buddy as well. The highlight of the trip was to go down and potentially meet Craig Wright, which we did. I saw him. I saw the inner workings of the first day of the trial, which was very telling, very telling. I saw Andreas Antonopoulos on the stand,
Wow.
squirming, I may add, squirming when he was pressed as to whether or not he called Craig Wright a fraud. Oh, you should have seen him, a real rat.
What?
Anyway. Oh yeah, I mean, I saw that. I waited outside. I met Craig Wright. I shook his hand. He signed my book. I had the Bitcoin book with me. He signed it. And then we proceeded the next day, and we rented a couple of motorcycles and rode the Florida Keys, and then finished off our week and got home.
Wow. So you got to see Antonopoulos on the stand, and he was not up there.
Yeah.
He was.
Antonopoulos, you see on YouTube, or anytime you've ever heard him talking about CSW, and Antonopoulos on the stand were two different guys, by the way. And you know what? I will tell you something. Craig Wright still reached out to Antonopoulos and invited him into Bitcoin. In other words, he invited him onto the team. But you see, the thing is, these people that are working for the other side, so to speak, these people are very well paid. God knows what they have on them. I mean, it could be a mix of payment and blackmail. You don't know.
Yeah.
So these people, I mean, these people they know they're not working for the good guys. They know they're not working for something honorable. Yet there they are, right? There they are. So they're doing what they're doing. I mean, and that's the world we live in.
Wow, that's so crazy. You're actually describing this perfectly. Seems like exactly what's going on in a lot of time in politics right now. They have a very similar thing with politics. Like somebody who starts out, they have good intentions, and those good intentions pave their way to hell because they get footage of him at a party, and all of a sudden, doing something against his wife, or
Not saying it is, not saying it isn't, but for me personally, everyone is different. For me personally, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'd rather in this whole digital currency, cryptocurrency thing. Oh boy.
Hold on, it's got some music from Lee.
Yeah.
Letcham, did you want to go ahead and speak, Letcham? You got the mic unmuted. You want to just wait a moment and unmute a second and let Jpaps finish?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to mute you for a second, then you can unmute Jpaps. Go ahead, Jpaps, unmute.
All right, here we are. Okay, so yeah, look, like I've said to people around me. I mean, I was a shitcoiner, right? I was a shitcoiner.
Okay, we lost you. You were doing shit coining. Hold on, unmute. How about now? Can you try it again? Jpaps, I lost you. Well, I don't know where you went, buddy. It could be you want to chime in? Go ahead, Graham. Is it Graham? Latcham? Latchland?
Okay, here I am. I'm back.
Okay, you're back. Jpaps, go ahead.
Yeah, it said I was muted by host. Maybe you did something on your end.
I probably muted everybody because there was background noise. Now you should be good.
Yeah, okay. Like I was saying there, I was a shitcoiner for a while. You know, I mean, I didn't know. This is just my personal experience here. I mean, I didn't know anything from anything, and I was trading, you know, back and forth, in and out of coins, you know, and then the moment, like, look, I would wake up at 3 in the morning, at 3:30 in the morning, grab my phone, and check and check Binance, because like what's going on? I had no idea. I made money. I made money, but let me tell you, I couldn't tell you how I made it. It was all like a roll of the dice. It was just fluke. It was maybe a little bit of intuition. It was nothing I could replicate. I'll put it to you that way.
Total luck.
Okay?
Well, it was also the market. If you're in 2017, you were catching the bull run.
True. But the whole thing is, I'm uncomfortable, even if it's in a winning position. I'm uncomfortable if I don't know how I got there. So I said to myself, when I figure all of this out, and it didn't take long. I mean, 48 hours. After 24 hours, I was 75% sure Craig Wright was Satoshi. After 48 hours, I was 100% sure. It wasn't much research, right? It wasn't much research. As soon as I found out, all in on Bitcoin SV, the real Bitcoin, all in. Have never looked back. Have never traded. Have only purchased. Have never traded once.
Wow.
Simple as that.
Wow.
You know, so I mean that's my, I guess that's my personal journey, and anybody that I will sit down and spend 30 to 45 minutes talking about Bitcoin, all they want to know is how they can get Bitcoin SV. How can they get it? They tell me I've convinced them. I have many people on board. People aren't stupid, man. But they need the proper education. People are not stupid.
And
I mean,
what do you tell them when they say, "How do I get it?" Because that's a challenge often.
true, but how do you get it? I will tell you straight. How do you get it? Not my problem. That is now your problem.
Exactly.
I just for me it's very simple. It's such a simple sell. I mean, really, you just explain to them how 7 transactions a second is BTC. Visa, that is like 25 to 50,000 transactions. I tell them, have you ever been on, busy day shopping, Thanksgiving weekend, or Boxing Day, and you're trying to do a Visa transaction, and the merchant tells you, hang on a second, it's the network is congested. You're gonna have to wait a bit, and let's try it again. It doesn't work. It's happened to me many times, and people are like, yeah, sure, that's happened, and I'm like, you got to understand. Think about a clock. All right. Now let's just imagine you imprint the world on that clock. Peak shopping times. I mean, it's only 5:30 or 6 p.m. at one strip of the world at once. It's not 6 p.m. everywhere at the same time. So it is not peak shopping hours everywhere at once.
Okay, that's background noise again. Please mute while he's talking.
Now, it's only if peak shopping hours on Boxing Day or whatever is 5:30 to 6 p.m. It is not 5:30 to 6 p.m. everywhere simultaneously all over the world. It's only on a small sliver, right, in a certain time zone. And even that, at a certain time zone, 50,000 transactions per second Visa is not enough. It gets overwhelmed. So how the hell is 7 transactions per second even have a snowball's chance in hell of ever being digital cash for the world?
Sounds pretty logical,
right?
Very logical.
No. Well, it's not really. It's not hard to come up to. You just take all of the parameters, all the facts, and put them together, and it's pretty easy to realize BTC is dead. And we're not even going to get into the whole mining thing, right? And the halvening and all of that. I mean, there's so many attack vectors that will see the demise of BTC. It's not even a question of it being my opinion or whatever. They're going to have to either inflate the supply, right? Or go to proof of stake or some other ungodly thing they got to do. They got to change Bitcoin absolutely 100%, even more than what it is right now, just to survive, not to make money. Because when we talk about a BTC being, I don't know, what is it now, over $50,000 just to mine one, we're talking about break-even price. I don't know about you, but if I'm in business, I'm not looking to break even. I'm looking to make money.
Oh yeah, the miners are losing money now.
Right. So if we're talking about break even, they keep saying how much BTC costs to mine. Who cares how much it costs to mine? I want to make money.
Yeah.
If I'm going to put out 3, 4, 5, whatever $1 million to start a mining operation to mine Bitcoin, you think I care to break even? If I'll break even, I'll just keep my money.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll leave it in the bank and get 2% interest or whatever the hell they're paying today.
Yeah. This is great, dude. This is awesome. So the big news is the documentary, and just to summarize kind of what you said for the people who are just tuning in, is that we talked about this HBO documentary that is now coming out. We're going to schedule a space to talk about that. It looks like on the 8th when it breaks. And your theory is, well, I don't know, your theory, it's just a theory, is that it's Blockstream's counter narrative to the CoinGeek documentary. And now just recap again this CoinGeek documentary. You're in it, and again, I didn't know about this. So can you tell everyone about that again?
Well, look, back during the Klieman trial, I don't know how much earlier than that they started filming it, but they documented the whole Klieman trial for this documentary. And like I said, my part, I was just there on day one, and they found it rather amusing that I actually went all the way from where I am in Montreal down to Miami, so that I could be there. I guess they wanted to include that as a story of whatever angle they want to play it up. I was shocked that there wasn't more people there, Gavin. To be honest with you, right? It was me, my buddy, and we were there, and I was expecting like a swarm of people.
Right.
But lo and behold, I mean, I gave my IDs downstairs at the courthouse. I was able to go up. I made it just as the witnesses were coming in. And I was there for the whole of day one. And I saw some faces that I recognized, but I mean, there was nobody there. And then days and days later, I had heard that more and more people, more international media was coming in. Like the story there about this trial started getting traction, I guess, around, But like day one was nothing. It was like I was like one of the only people there that were visiting. I walked right in. I actually made eye contact with Craig when I walked in, and I flashed him my book. And he smiled because he it's him against the world.
What's
right?
the name
At
of the
this
book?
point? God damn it, that orange book, man. I don't know why it's not coming to me now. Mastering Bitcoin. Anyway.
Oh, the Andrew Antonopoulos book?
No, not the Antonopoulos book.
Oh, okay.
One second. My 1 second. Let me.
So
Give me 1
Antonopoulos
second.
was also there. You said he was testifying up on the stand, and did you meet him as well?
No, I actually made eye contact with him. He is a complete and total rat. I didn't want to. Oh, here we go. It's Satoshi's Vision: The Art of Bitcoin.
Okay, Satoshi's Vision: The Art of Bitcoin. Maybe I never even heard of that book.
No? Okay. Well, it's written, Craig Wright, forward by Paul Democratu.
Never heard of it.
Well, if I got it in my hand here, and
We don't have video on here, so just have to kind of write.
yeah, I hear you. And it's on the first page. It's signed by Craig Wright.
Damn, nice work,
Anyhow,
dude. I want to.
Send
I want to hear from
Jpaps.
Raph, dude. He just joined us. What's up, Raph? Go ahead.
No, I want to hear from you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. I love hanging out amongst the smartest people in all of Bitcoin history, which are you guys. And also moral. You guys are moral. You guys are decent, upright people, and I love you. Thank you for staying true to the original vision, the original design that everyone is copying right now shamelessly on Fractal, on Bells, on BTC, on Bitcoin Cash, on Dogecoin, on Radiant, on Earthbucks. I can keep going. Everyone is copying the mother chain. This is the mother chain, guys. You guys are at the ultimate truth ledger. And we simply have to accept the fact that we live in a world full of morons that are easily psyoped. So as long as you understand that this is a long-term game, you'll be fine. The truth is that the smartest of people in Bitcoin can't resist but still work on Bitcoin. That's the honest truth. Or they have to look over their shoulder to see what BSV's up to drool over it, like the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine did with HODL Locker, or to copy it like so many are doing right now. Know that everything that they copy elsewhere, everything that they copy elsewhere is only going to be a half-assed version that will inevitably reach a dead end that will require more scaling. So even Solana wants to mirror us, wants to copy us. Everything Solana right now, the top dev in Solana is a BSV dude, Dean Little. And no one talks about that. Yeah, and a lot of these great entrepreneurs left BSV to make money elsewhere, but deep down they know that what the potential is here, and they understand how far behind everyone else is.
You know what?
Everywhere else is just super behind. The only fucking problem that we have here is an optics one. If you change the optics here, which is what we should be focusing on in these conversations, if you change the optics here, then it's game over. But you guys are so caught
Change
up,
the
and I mean,
optics.
change the optics, man. Talk to some branding experts. Talk to some PR experts. Talk to some, I don't know, get feedback from experts in the field of marketing. So you guys keep this around.
Rafael, if I may, first of all, love your content. You're awesome. I don't respectfully, I don't believe it's an optics issue. I mean, the BSV optics. If you look at the protocol, you look at everything. It is not bad by any means.
No,
It's actually
you're looking at it from the perspective of a geeky tech guy, and not everyone has the time for that.
no, but
You're
it's
assuming that everyone else thinks like you and has the dedication and the IQ that you have. That's where you mess up. You don't factor in the stupidity of the masses.
I don't make myself out to be some super high IQ guy. Look, I'm a regular person. I'm really I'm a regular guy, and I can tell you this: Bitcoin
No,
is
you're
made
not.
for
Not if
regular
you're here.
people.
No,
Bitcoin
not
is
if
made.
you're here, dude. No, dude. If you want to reach to regular people, you gotta speak regular people language. You can't be tossing around lawsuits. You can't be talking about the law.
Well, look,
Can I interject
what
real?
Casey, go ahead.
what else can
Hold on one
what else
second.
can we
Casey,
do at this
hi.
point?
Casey,
Oh.
talk to me.
Hi,
How you
sorry
doing?
guys. I'm good. My daughter gave me a little head cold. I haven't been sick in a long time, so I sound a little raspy, but I just wanted to comment on what Raf was saying about like PR and like higher level marketing people and getting in front of them. And it may not look like I did anything because nothing ever came to fruition for real, but I was getting on calls with like the head of the marketing for the Minions movie and like huge marketing people. And these people were 100% censoring BSB. The second I brought up BSB or Craig Wright, conversation over, shut down, censored, kicked off stages. I mean, it was just like brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. So most of the marketing industry is in bed with the cabal that is completely suppressing this technology. So it's not like we haven't tried, Raf.
Well, that was very
Well, that's still a problem here.
Ralph.
Absolutely.
Ultimately on the marketing, dude, I don't think it matters. I was convinced about a couple months ago, Raf, that oh man, the brand is screwed. We gotta abandon the brand. I was convinced that oh, it's a problem. Dude, I'm completely with 180 degrees. It don't matter. All it matters is just Bitcoin. You call it whatever you want, call it Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. It's too late because people are starting to use the technology peer-to-peer in small casual payments. And that's all that matters. When they start making money, they make money. They do their transactions. They don't need to know it's Bitcoin. They don't need to know what it's called. They use it because they like it. And that's it. And that's what.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin BSV it's gonna succeed in spite of the world of the cabal. This is unstoppable technology. Let's be real here. It's not 3 times better than what we have now. It's not 5 times better. It's thousands of times better. This is unstoppable.
We know
They
that.
can slow it. They can
Obvious.
slow it
That's
down.
what it is.
They can slow it down, and they are slowing it down. They can slow it down. You can't stop it.
Well,
So it's
that's
just
the
a matter
only
of time.
thing that they can do, and that's what they've been very successful at. That's the problem. It's like, yeah, they can slow it down. Well, that's all they need to do is slow it down by giving it bad optics, and they're doing a great job at that.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, and like Casey said, has either been psyoped, bought out, or brainwashed into thinking that this is, for some reason, the place and the technology that they cannot study, can't look at, because the brainwashing is so deep. Honestly, like what Gavin said is very real. Like we need to embrace the first step in addressing this marketing issue is to embrace it, to own it, to own the position that we're in, that this network is in, the original design of Bitcoin, and to own it and to like keep going forward boldly, to double down. So no, I completely agree with you guys, but I think that that there will be a breaking point.
Right.
And the breaking point comes down to how fast we are to entice someone from the other camp to completely buckle. And we're very close to that.
One person
because
folding, dude, from the other side is all it takes.
all it takes is one of them folding and saying out loud, not just buying it in private. Like I've met many BTC maxis throughout the years boasting about how they own, like a Twitch hat, but like being loud about it and saying, you know what, guys, it seems like all we're doing here is copying BSV. So I'm just going to hedge on that. See, that is the pressure that we are moving. We're inching up to.
Pressure's building for that right now.
Pressure is building.
But can you make the point that you've made before where, I mean, I know I've heard you say this a bunch of times where you said they will not ever scale the block size because it will be like a martyr. And what was the point that you used to make about that? Now look where we are.
Well, the crazy thing is that they're quietly positioning themselves to scale the block size in BTC because they already see the writing on the wall. And grudgingly, they have 19 opcodes to reinstate lined up, starting with OpCat, that they're deliberately working on it. And shamefully, they blame Satoshi for not having activated it already. It's shameless. These guys are fucking shameless, but that's my opinion. They're fucking shameless. It's ridiculous, man. Like, and the truth is that people in BSV, the mother chain, have the upper hand in the market, and that's why entrepreneurs from this space are kicking ass across all of crypto right now. They really are. And so the truth, the reality is that our own entrepreneurs that have left and embrace the market as is, they themselves know what's up. Why do you think the Twitch guys are still working on yours.org? They just literally a couple seconds ago put out an update with an SPV node. So like you have to understand, there is a force of gravity here that now everyone is circling around. Everyone working on bells, everyone working on Fractal, everyone working on Bitcoin Cash. They see what's happening here. Everyone working on all of these things, and they are just they're having a hard time. They're having a hard time as like really embracing this. Look, I would want to ask any developer in the room, BSV developer in the room, if you could please talk to TreeChat.ai, because the killer app that we need is to marry social media with an on-chain exchange open order book experience, like Fleur is doing, what the Twitch guys are doing they're doing it on Fractal with OpCat on Fractal. We need Fleur on BSV and marry that with TreeChat and Twitch, because Twitch was just resurrected on TreeChat. You marry social media with an on-chain exchange experience and you'll be able to do things, because now you give entrepreneurs the ability you make everyone an entrepreneur to create any type of digital asset that they want on an on-chain social media platform. So you're just literally giving all artists and entrepreneurs the ability to have access to the blockchain and create whatever they want. On top of that, transaction fees are so cheap that I myself can subsidize billions of transactions for people to create things on chain for free. So that's what we need right now. Jack Lew and the Real AX guys were working on this. This was their before they did HODL Locker. This is what they were working on, something like this. Well, we need this on steroids. We need to marry social media on chain, and we need to marry the exchange experience that comes from an order book, a shared order book, an open order book.
So yeah, the tree chat guys are been messaging me. I don't understand what the hell it is. So can you explain to me what this tree chat is? And they sent me some stuff, and I'm just like, tell me like I'm five. What the hell is going on with tree chat?
Bro, tree chat is like Twitch, like many iterations. Like the other one we had was BitChat. Many iterations of what social media on the blockchain, on the fullness of the blockchain is. So you just literally turn Bitcoin, the original design of Bitcoin, into a social media platform. This is all we're really talking about. Bitcoin as social media. Bitcoin as an exchange. Okay, so stop thinking about Bitcoin as just a place to do transactions. Bitcoin is a social media platform. If we want it to be, and that's what we've done in the past, Bitcoin is many things, and what we need to do is to create environments where people can easily grab different tools and create whatever they want. But now they don't have to be developers. If you create the platform for them to create whatever asset they want to sell and post for free on chain, because it's so cheap to subsidize, you can do so many things here, man. Like sky's the limit, bro. You can literally give people a pumped up fun experience that is even more vast, more abundant. You can give people a Twitter experience that is more abundant. So you can literally turn BSV into a better Binance and into a better X.
Nice.
By marrying both. You can do that here.
Jpaps, you wanted to comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Look, what really bootstrapped Bitcoin? What really drove up demand? It was a marketplace, Silk Road. It was a marketplace where you needed Bitcoin. We need a marketplace where the only currency that can be used on there is Bitcoin SV. And it's got to be stuff that people want, people need.
Yep.
The moment people need to get Bitcoin SV, they will get it. Right now, people don't need to get Bitcoin SV. As a matter of fact, people don't even need to get BTC, except if they feel like they're gonna somehow gamble it away and make some money.
FOMO.
I mean, aside from gambling, who the hell is gonna buy BTC? You can't do anything with it.
FOMO. Just FOMO.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real. What can you do besides pay a $20 to $50 transaction fee to move $1? What can you do with BTC? The only thing you're going to buy it for is to hope that somehow some magic fairy fart dust comes out of the ether and makes it go up, right? People always, I have friends that tell me, oh, wait, the bull run is coming. You know, the bull run is coming. Guys, the bull run is not some kind of ethereal being. The bull run is not a person. The bull run is not a thing. The bull run is what happens due to circumstances, whether they're manufactured or they're organic, right? This is what happens. This is what causes a bull run. I mean, so far in BTC, I would say that any bull run that's happened has been largely manufactured by the pumping of Tether, right? Aside from that, I mean, if everybody is buying something and they're holding it and everyone's looking at each other, you know, it's like a bunch of kids. The music starts and they don't want to be the first one to get up and dance. You know, the thing is, someone's got to get up, and the people that are getting up to dance are Tether. They're the ones that are getting into the marketplace, and then everyone else is following, only to be rugged later, of course. You know, but this is the thing with BTC. I've used BTC in the past before I knew what Bitcoin was. I used BTC, complete dog shit. You know, people sit there and they talk about using BTC. Guys,
Donald Trump was
I
using
want
that thought at that conference. He was trying to use it.
Trump is personally, I like Trump, the most entertaining guy. And you know what? As president, he actually said he's going to do A, B, C, and D. I was shocked. You know, as a Canadian from the outside looking in, this guy gets elected, starts doing A, B, C, and D. I never saw this before. Not in American politics, not in Canadian politics. Love him or hate him. He said he was going to do something. He did it. Love him or hate him. You can't hate him based on him getting elected and not doing what he said he was going to do. That being said, this guy has no idea what he's talking about with BTC. Zero, none, nil, zero. Okay, he just wants votes. He wants to get as many people to vote for him as he can. That's his job as a politician. The moment he gets in, he has said it a million times. He's there for the American people, for the American economy, for the American dollar. Any other currency is a threat to that. He's going to go hardcore against it. And the big economies of the world, like America, say Japan, Germany, these are going to be the last economies in the world where something like the genuine Bitcoin is going to be adopted. They're going to be the last ones because these guys are sitting high on the horse. They're not going to want to change. They're statists. They like things as they are. Expect the Congo. Sierra Leone. These are the people that are going to get onto Bitcoin first.
Yeah, they might
because they got crappy systems, and you know what? Anything's better than what they got now.
Yeah.
So they're going to give it a go. I don't know about you, but if I had the reserve currency of the world, I ain't rolling no dice. I'm already on top.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
If anything, I'm going to send a couple of warships here and there to make sure I stay on top. You know?
I remember he was trying to make a transaction, and it was he tried it 3 times on his phone, and then he gave it to the other guy, the merchant, and then the merchant did it. You know, that's against the law. When you're doing a merchant transaction, the merchant cannot take your thing and do it for you. You have to do it. That's the law now.
Yes.
And
yes, but did we see the extended clip? Does the extended clip even exist? Where Trump has to sit around for 4 to 6 block confirmations to make sure the transaction doesn't get reversed? Does he have to sit around for an hour so that he can get his cup of coffee that is now nice and cold? Did we see that part?
We didn't see that part.
No,
No.
we didn't see that part. That part was conveniently edited out.
Yeah.
Now, look, I have to go. This has been a great talk, Gavin. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah.
BSV Panama,
right.
love your stuff, Rafael. I've long time fan, Rafael. I'm a long time fan.
Me too.
You're really on the money, brother. Okay. Gavin, I look forward to. I just want to let you know I'm always lurking in the background. I try to make as many of these spaces as possible. I try to listen to as many of these spaces as possible. I've consumed everything. This space has been my life for the last 6 years.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff. Like I hear you guys talk. There's a lot of stuff you guys. I'm not saying you don't know or maybe you forgot or there's a lot of times I'm like, hey, how come they didn't say this? How come they didn't say that? I just popped in today because I requested and you guys actually answered. You know?
Yeah. Tomorrow, 8:00, 11 Eastern. We got a big space coming in tomorrow. So try to make it.
I will try to make it. Everybody have a great night.
Right on.
And remember, win or lose, we've already won.
Yeah. Dude, thank you, John.
Gavin, I'll see you at the top.
I'll see you at the top, baby. I appreciate it. And I'm going to recap what John said for those who missed it earlier. And that was, he mentioned how he was at the day 1 of the Klieman trial when Antonopoulos was up on the stand, and Antonopoulos was testifying about, the case, and he was getting called about calling Craig Wright a fraud, and he was squirming. Then he said at the trial, he was interviewed by CoinGeek about the documentary that they're filming. And he said that he believes, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but he mentioned that, the reason I started this space up was because the Blockstream/Copa documentary that's out there right now about Satoshi. And they say that they found the identity of Satoshi. It might be Adam Back. It might be Nick Szabo. It might be the other people. If you guys saw the little clip, it's going to come out on the 8th of this month. And so now he said, well, he believes, and then it makes total sense that CoinGeek, it's actually it's a calculated documentary that they've been planning to counter or actually do the first punch at the Satoshi documentary before the one from CoinGeek comes out. Because apparently there's one from CoinGeek that he mentioned he's going to be in. He was in it at the trial, and Kurt has been pretty quiet about it. I think Kurt's under an NDA about it. That's why he said to me, he told me he couldn't talk about it because of an NDA. So, but apparently that's why I don't know about it, because no one said anything to me about it. But yeah, that's coming, a documentary about Satoshi from the insides of CoinGeek, and this could be a counterintelligence operation to get it out there. So that's a summary. Go ahead and if anybody else wants to jump in, feel free to. Back to you, Raph. Did you have any? Yeah.
Yeah, so I posted on the Nest. David Case is just talking about how they're testing the yours.org wallet, the new update for it. So if you guys can go in and play with it, the way I like to play with it is by going to I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna go do it on Tree Chat when I get a chance.
All right, everybody, check out what's in the Nest there. It's on GiftHub from David Case about the Tree Chat, the wallet yours.org, which is a good dude over there called Dan who did that wallet, and he bootstrapped that wallet, man. The guy, I met him in person in San Francisco, and he just did that wallet out of because it was a need, and he just dedicated a ton of time to it. He wasn't paid. He didn't get an investor. He wasn't paid a salary. He wasn't just sitting there working. No, dude, he was just dedicating all of his time and focus, pretty much as blood, sweat, and tears to build that. And apparently, it's a really good wallet and doing a lot. So David Case is checking it out, and look out what Raph posted. Okay, a couple of other people are up there who hasn't spoken. Did you want to say anything? You got Framore? You're on stage. More. I saw you doing a thumbs up. Do you have anything to say? Go ahead and do it. Speak your piece, or looks like you were born in Sicily. You were there until you're 25. More. And then also we got D Free. Did you want to chime in? D Free. Okay, for more. You got your hand raised. Go ahead. Unmute. For more, Francisco.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Yeah.
Francisco, got it. How you doing?
Well, all fine. I'm listening. Interesting conversation while driving around. Here is the day. I'm in South Korea, actually.
South Korea. Well, good morning.
And the guy before was saying that we need a marketplace, and I wish I could make one because I do trade food. I import food from Italy and sell, but I was trying to set up a marketplace, but using the tools that I used to use, like WordPress and plugin. I couldn't find any plugin working for BSV. So I think 5 years ago was better, was easier to set. Now I don't see any tools available.
Tools are lacking.
Yeah.
No, Scrypt, yours.org. I really don't know how to answer that. So it's not my area of expertise at all. But I would say you got a great profile, man. 14,000 followers, Seoul, Korea. Everybody check him out. Framore SV. Framore SV.
Yeah, the follower was mostly because I was doing the Bullish Art project a few years ago, which was NFT on BSV.
Nice. People like that. I just read a patent the other day about how NFTs patented. Yeah, N-Chain's got the patent on that. Sorry to break it, everybody. Bad news. So, oops. Yep. Sorry. N-Chain's already beat you to it. Whoever's done NFT, it's okay. Great, do it. But if it's not on Bitcoin SV, it's in patent violation, and it's coming. So get ready. Go ahead, Casey. Casey? No? Was that you?
I didn't have anything to add.
I thought I heard you saying something.
No.
Okay, who else? D Free, did you want to chime in? D Free. BSV Panama, anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm following as much as I can, well, as usual. And for the time being, I have no comments. But I would like to invite everybody again to make sure to come tomorrow to the space at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
EST.
Thank you. It's an important space
Yeah.
because we're going to go on the record about the regulation stuff. And I've got a good panel of people that are going to talk about it, and then it's going to be open. So, I know that I get a lot of hate saying, oh, it's not open forum. Dude, no, I'm not working for nobody, dude. It's open forum. Now it's not going to be screaming. That's not how it's going to go. We're going to have a very civilized conversation. But if people have opposition or they don't like the NAR, the DAR, and these things, that's fine, dude. That's what this is going to be for, so that they can voice their opinion and say why it's a bad idea. But just make sure that you've got your argument and your facts and your law and your reasoning based. We're not doing name calling or mudslinging or anything like that. So as long as it's, we want to hear all that. So that's gonna be an important space, and then probably be an ongoing conversation. May have to do more like this because it's a point of contention for a lot of people. So tune in tomorrow, 11 o'clock. It's gonna be a freaking great one. I'm gonna try to get that attorney on John Stark or John Reed. No guarantee if he'll be on, but I wouldn't doubt. I got Brian Doherty for sure. Connor Murray, who's the architect of the Narndar, he's going to be on there. And there's a bunch of other speakers. Michael Scott, Alex Savell. I invited Jack Pitts. Who knows? I always going to be a surprise guest. I wouldn't doubt it. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good. Casey, anything else in closing? Oh, wait, somebody else just joined us. 1CF CHI. Go ahead and unmute if you want to add anything. Say hello. It's 1CHIF, aka Digital Street Hustler. If you want to add anything or make a plug, now's your time. Hold your peace. Okay. All right. Nothing else to add. Unless there's anything else to add, I'm going to motion we close, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at the top. All right. This is going down in what I would call making history. I ain't joking. I'll see you at the top.